didn't like, it freaked me out.
Just rambling.
It's a little bit better. They were talking so low.
That actually is a pretty good intro.
It's dope.
That is
It's a dope intro.
Okay. I'm not going to take that away from you guys. That's called
Can you hear me?
that way.
Yeah.
Am I good?
Yeah. Can you hear you?
Yeah. I just don't know if I'm too quiet.
You're definitely not too
You're
quiet.
never too
Damn,
quiet.
dude.
Remember that.
You could back up.
I'm
off
just
that
trying to be
mic.
the greatest promoter in Shreveport history, but the second best open mic. Everybody, how are we doing?
Do it.
You got to do it.
Do it.
No, I felt like as I was doing
I want
it.
you to do it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
So
it.
the intro just sounds like he mixed a bunch of podcasts, but really he was like, all right, I need everybody to just have a conversation to themselves right now.
No, so what I used to do was sound check. Because what I would do is I wanted to hear everybody's volume level so I could adjust, and like if you're too close to the mic, too close, too far away, blah, 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 whatever. So I would do sound check, and I'd just say, everybody start talking, and I'd hit record. And I would play it. I'd let them talk, record, and then I'd play it back, and then I could hear who was talking. Who do I need to adjust? So I would make my adjustments. I'd do it again, and we're good to go. And I did that
15 times.
No, dozens, more than that.
The birth of an intro.
And then I had them all, and I was going to delete them, and I was like, well, let me try
Let me see if I can do something
and
with
I
this.
threw like 10 of them on top of each other.
Isn't it so hard to delete any clip and stuff like that you have? Like, I have the same thing with logos that I've wanted to throw away. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep them. Where's the terrible table? Oh, go to the other one. And then I want you to pull up your sick-ass logo. So I'm sure we've explained it on how many podcasts with new people.
3. This is number 3.
This will be number 3. The reason it's called the terrible table. So the first time.
Hold on. What is your full name, sir?
My full name is Dustin Vance.
Dustin Vance. I kept wanting to call you Dusty Lance.
You want to call him Dusty because he's southern as fuck. And he sounds like Dusty Slay.
You know what? Let's just pause right there, okay?
That's a big compliment. He's one of my favorites.
It's a compliment, but it's a real problem for me because Dusty Slay, Nate Bargatze, I'm the same age as those guys.
Are you that old?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Actually, I'm maybe a little older than both of them, really. I'm 44.
I think, Jesus.
So, yeah, I'm fucking old, yeah. I took one of those like little old people bus to get here today.
One of the ones with the ramp.
One of those senior citizen shuttle services was what I did. But no, so it's weird for me sometimes doing comedy because I'm the same age as those guys. I have the same upbringing as those guys,
and almost not style, but
well, that's because
cadence almost.
Well, that's because
y'all grew up similar.
We grew up similar.
Yes.
We grew up in the South. We grew up
poor South. That's what it is. The poor South.
It's not. So it kind of stinks for me. Because obviously, I'm not as good, not as good as they are. But they're like, hey, you're a lot like Dusty Slay. I'm like, no, we're a lot like each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's so funny that you just say that you're not as good at those as those guys. I have literally how many shows, not including open. So you've only done one show with me, maybe 2. No, you've done more than 2.
I think 2 or 3.
So a little less than a handful, and literally every single time, I will have someone message me and be like, oh shit, Dustin Vance is going to be in that. That's awesome. Or afterwards, like, that first guy, like after the Kill Tony, they were like, yo, it's cool that you brought those guys. That first guy. And I go, yeah, that's why I booked them. So y'all could see you ain't got to go nowhere to have good comedy. Like, I got you here. There is such talented people here.
These are the jokes of a killer, Bella.
It's one of those where I'm like, I want to keep getting big names, but I'm always going to put a local on because I want people to be like, hey, who was that first guy? It's like, oh, that was Dustin Vance. And they're like, damn, I need to follow him. Why does he have 12 followers? I'm like, I don't know, because y'all don't come to fucking shows. That's the problem. I need y'all here.
It's because y'all didn't tag my Instagram. You tagged my personal Instagram.
Joel Primrose, that's on you. I don't run the Instagram.
Not my actual comedy.
You have a comedy
Instagram.
one too?
Yeah.
Well, you got to let us know. Closed mouth don't get fed, baby.
You just tagged it, and I was like, oh man,
you can always
a ton of new followers,
but not on the one you want it
that I do nothing with.
So
real gift of the Magi situation.
Next time that happens,
I thought you had this figured out.
Next time you do that, or next time next time we tag you on something that's your personal, text me, hey, Chris, can you tag this one instead? And I'll send that text over to Joel and be like, yo, can you handle this? And he will adjust it.
Well, I'll make sure I get it right on my end. I'll put the right link in the description.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I put Cool Car Chuck in there.
Cool Car Chuck.
I got it right.
I love you, Chuck. I can't believe you're still chasing that.
What, the Cool Car?
Mm-hmm.
Cool Car Chuck. The very first time I met Chuck, he had his hoodie on that's got his car on it with the doors popped up. And the very first thing I said to him, because he was standing by his car, the first thing I was like, dude, the doors come up like that? And he was like, oh, no.
It had the
why are you
Lamborghini
faking on
doors.
the
Why'd you
bacon?
put it on your logo and stand by the car? What do you...
He probably just used some clip art.
I knew a guy that had a like GMC Sierra, big jacked up truck that had Lambo doors.
That's crazy.
And he was so short, he had to put ropes on it to get the door to close.
I don't even think Lambos have those doors.
I think they
We just
do.
call them, they're called butterfly doors. Lamborghinis do not. I've driven a Lamborghini. They do not, not all of them, maybe a couple of them. I think it's an aftermarket thing.
No, dude, several.
Especially like in the 80s and 90s.
Like the Gallardo, I'm pretty sure that has
I couldn't tell
those
you
kind of doors.
names.
I think the one
I'm a
I drove
Honda
was a
Pilot
Gallardo.
guy.
So check.
All right, hold on.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody. All right.
Start over because you didn't
All
like
right,
that
no,
intro.
I did it wrong too. I was saying goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. We're out of here. No, all right. Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the Terrible Table Podcast. I have not Dusty Slay, not Dustin Nobody. I got Dustin Vance in the house. Is that correct?
That's correct. You got it,
I
John.
got it right.
Thank you very much.
And you're very welcome. Now,
Happy to be here.
we can continue with your conversation about nothing.
Right now?
Chris,
Intro
please.
me, buddy.
Am I supposed to? Everybody knows who the hell you are.
I don't know.
You talk
I'm on the
more
intro video.
than any guest that we have.
I can't help myself. I got to be the life of the party, and
More about you while we got him here.
yeah, we'll
Sure,
we'll
yeah.
talk to him a little bit.
We'll maybe.
Anyway,
You want me to move the
Let's at least hear
camera.
a little about you.
And you've talked to Chris before.
I know. I'm gonna try to keep him
Again,
on.
Someone's gotta
again,
keep
the
you
new
wrangled.
podcast will switch to 30 minutes in, and that's will be the new name of it instead of Terrible Table. And what we'll do is we'll do this shit for 30 minutes,
And then
You're
we'll
gonna
start
have
rolling.
to get a list of questions, man.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
so I've tried to do some questions, and I'll be fully honest. Yeah, well, I not necessarily, but I didn't do any. This has been a weird week for us this week,
get it, man.
and I didn't do any research on you whatsoever. Normally, I do.
There's not just a ton of research to do on me.
And we can
so-
also do like the old boys
a
at
bunch of
AYG.
editing. Oh, what?
The boys at AYG. Give me the background.
See what I mean by editing?
There was
It
nothing
just,
there.
It happens
There was
just like
nothing
that.
there.
Nothing.
Like the best part of the story was the very end, not because it was over, but because that was where the good part was.
And it wasn't a good part.
No, it was good. That's the.
it's
I
good
mean,
that we can shit on you
I
about
vote.
it.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's-
sure.
No, I'm.
Dustin's not wearing one of my shirts, and I'm upset about
I've
it.
got
Neither are you.
I've got a newfound respect.
For how bad I am at talking.
No, for that guy, for a rich guy that buys a nice car
And lets the boys
and
drive.
it's like, yeah, let's drive it. I mean,
Y'all
those are
take it.
expensive cars. They're made to be driven. And if Top Gear has shown me anything, like you can put some cars through some shit.
Yeah.
That's right. We were
It'll
talking
still
about
run.
Top Gear.
Right, yeah.
Did you ever start watching the USA version?
I'm on season, what season am I on? Like maybe 19 now. So it's still Clarkson
Yeah.
and
Are y'all
Hammond
are y'all
and
car
May.
guys?
I'm not a car guy. I just liked watching.
Are you a car guy?
I liked.
Same.
Really?
I've only become more of a quote unquote car guy
By watching it?
By watching that, and it's just been so interesting. Although it got to a point, I was interested enough in it where I downloaded Car Mechanic Simulator.
Nice.
And now it's one of those games like the hamburger, like where you
Yeah,
work
like
and
you have
flip
to
fly,
do-
but
yeah,
you
Do
just
you have
So,
the
like-
headset VR thing, or is it just on the phone?
No, it's on my Xbox.
Oh, he got-
It's
Oh,
on the
nice.
Xbox.
go in his living room and he's doing this with the video. Oh man,
No, and it's very difficult. It seems like it's way more difficult than what working on an actual car would be.
I don't know if you ever worked on a car.
Well, I know.
I've busted my knuckles plenty of
Well,
times.
no, that's the problem because this one doesn't
His
even
hands
give
are
you the
soft as shit,
opportunity
just
to
telling
bust your
somebody.
knuckles. Like you just have to like look down into the engine bay and look around and hope that the nut that you click on is the oil pan drain and not the transmission
Me
drain.
and him are
Like, 'cause
clicking
there's
on way
nothing,
different nuts.
You know, because it gives you no like it doesn't tell you. Then it'd be pointless. You know, if it just showed you, if it just told you what to do.
I could never
So you
play
just
that
have to
game.
pop the hood and then like look around for the oil filter in what this made-up engine bay of a fictional car
It
is.
sounds like an app that would have been deleted quickly.
You know what's crazy?
It's fun.
Do you have
But
to
it's
deal with
different.
ads on it?
No, there's no. This is
Okay.
on
It's on
my
Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, it's
Oh,
on my Xbox. Yeah,
okay.
it's not
I was
an
thinking.
app,
I was thinking.
No,
you
no,
were
You're a
no.
playing it
PlayStation
yourself.
guy, correct?
Yes.
PlayStation 5?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
robbing
this
your
was,
house tonight.
This is,
Okay. Come on.
You don't have any cameras up, do you?
I cleaned my guns the other day.
You have guns?
Zzz.
We're in Louisiana.
I have no guns because I can't trust myself to be mentally stable every single day.
I had to get rid of mine for the same reason.
Well, you know they sell these ones now that shoot paintball pellets, like tear gas.
Yeah, but I don't
and
want to
shit.
taste paintball.
Yeah, I think
That's
those would
funny.
be. I think it would be. I mean, as long as the person breaking in didn't have a gun, I think it would be fun to just unload one of those. on
Well, see, that's
somebody,
where I'd
you know?
say like you have one of those and it gets put in the hands of my wife, and then I'm standing beside her with the real
Like,
gun.
whenever
Yeah,
she
if
tells
he-
me to go, that's when I'm
if
going.
He,
Yeah.
If he pulls his arm up, I'm just gonna blow his fucking head off. But until
They're coming
then,
in like SEAL Team 6 on a burglar.
Kids, y'all bring your pepper spray guns out here and fuck this guy up.
Kids, he's only got a baseball bat. Go ahead, Daddy's got you. Swing on him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
No,
got
that's-
to be
I
an
just
element
gotta-
of danger.
I just got to
you
let
know?
him in the house.
Right.
Let them in. I think
Just
that's
come on
when
in.
that's when the rules
Just
get a
come on
little
in. The
little
cameras
cloudy.
no, there's no cameras in the house. Come on in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of cameras outside the house.
He was
There's so
coming-
many
he was
cameras.
charging right at us.
See,
I swear.
Yeah.
Look, you saw him
you
come in.
saw him running
Is,
the house.
is Louisiana
Yes, Stanger.
a castle law
What the fuck is that? No,
Like
we don't
where
have
they-
knights.
Where, like,
where once if somebody crosses the threshold,
Yeah, it's
I
stand your
think so.
ground, right?
Look,
well,
look,
there's a difference in stand your ground and castle law. So like if like stand your ground is like up here as far as legality to murder.
Yeah.
Whereas castle law is a little bit more down here because castle law is basically like your home is your castle,
Yep.
and anybody that comes into your castle, well,
Fuck. Sucks for
Sayonara.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
sucks for you, bye bye. Whereas stand your ground law is if I'm anywhere, if I'm out
Yeah,
anywhere
yeah.
in the world, just knocking
Someone
around,
approaches you,
and
gets
somebody
aggressive.
approaches me, gets aggressive, and does so in a way that makes me fear for my safety, my life. But I've got to be able to defend that claim. Like, why was I afraid for my life?
Right.
You know, was I afraid that he
did he
was
have
going
a
to
knife? Was he
was
three
he-
times your
right,
size?
Was he 3 times my
Yeah.
size? You know, what, did I think I was going to be immediately killed by one punch or something?
Right.
Like, you know. So yeah, so it's a different.
Well, I was.
I don't know. What,
I'm just trying to
I don't
not
know
get
what
punched in the face.
Louisiana is.
I don't want to get
Well,
punched. That shit sucks.
Arkansas was, anything goes at all time. Arkansas was an open carry state.
I don't think Louisiana isn't. I think
Yeah, we're
we are
open
an
carry now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
and we're
that.
concealed
Yeah,
carry too. You
concealed
don't have to have a
carry, yeah,
license to
Yeah.
conceal carry
Right,
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
Arkansas was the same way. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. The training that I had was a long time ago, and it was by the state police. And the gentleman, who I couldn't remember his name to say his name, he said, "Look, let's be honest. If it's you against somebody else, kill him. Don't leave.
Yeah, don't wound them.
Don't wound him. Don't leave him to have a story to tell.
Yeah.
If you shoot, you
needs
shoot,
to be
you
one
kill.
story.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Don't shoot them in the back.
Yeah, because then nobody can contradict your side of the story. Oh, it's groceries. Groceries again. I was like, who the fuck is
I didn't
standing
like
on my
that either
front
because
porch?
I will say this: there's 3 motherfuckers that are very sad all the time. So, well, Johnny's not sad. Dustin's sad.
No, but there are 2 baseball bats by the front door, and if you guys are sad,
So our first thought, if anybody comes to the door, is kill them. Is that where
oh,
you-
I'm
is
from
that where you
Highland,
guys
so
are
yes,
at?
yeah.
Mine is all.
Now, typically, it's like, are they Jehovah's Witnesses?
I would have probably said hello.
What you
that's
got going?
I'm going to lead. I'm going to lead with hello.
not a baseball bat to the forehead.
Right. Not,
Starting off
not
there.
a bat to the dome.
What's a little bat? It's like a kid's.
Like
it's
one of
a
those you get,
junior
a souvenir
aluminum.
bat?
Yeah, it's a junior.
Oh,
aluminum.
it's junior aluminum. We have one of those in the backyard that my daughter threatened me with the other day when she was upset, and I was like, "Hey,
Did
that's
she
not
hold
how."
it out and shake it?
No, she went ready to roll, and I was like, "Hey, I understand you're mad at me, but this is not how we act as humans. And I know you've seen me act ridiculous, but I want you to be better than me."
But just understand,
you.
I'm 12 times your size, and I will wear your ass out.
Literally, I have had to tell my children, "You don't understand how quickly I could kill you. Yes, I would get in trouble, but I could do it."
My daughter told me when she
I mean,
was like,
Casey Anthony got in zero trouble for it.
"That's right."
You know.
She's hot though. I'm not as hot as her.
When my daughter was little, she was like, I'll punch you in the face. And I was like, I'll punch you in the face. And she said, do it. And I said, baby, come here. And I held my fist up to her head, and I was like, do you see what's going on here? I was like, I would never hit you in the face. But do you see what would happen if I did?
I've wanted to plenty.
It is the majority of your face.
It's 9/10 of your face.
So just please.
3/5 of your
please,
face.
Just remember, that's how bad a slap hurts. Just sorry.
We love beating our kids. Back to stand your ground law. So yeah, if anyone's attacking you, you can kill them. You just, that guy said, just make sure you kill them so there's nothing to argue about.
Yeah, there's one story that's being told.
But it has to be reasonable that
Yeah, I didn't like the dude.
that they could have killed you. Like there has to be a reason. Like you have to have a reasonable thing of fearing for your life.
That's when
if
you
you guys had just shot that grocery delivery dude, you'd have been going to jail.
Well, we were only going to do that if you were in.
Not necessarily, because maybe he had peanuts, and maybe I'm allergic to peanuts.
Listen, you're going to jail, Johnny. All right, you're going to jail, Chris. You're going to jail. Guess who's not going to jail? Me, because I'm going snitch 30 immediately.
Damn. All right.
I'm going to call the cop. I'll be the first one to come back. Look, these guys on this podcast.
I don't know,
They just
man.
I
killed
thought we
the
were going to have a
grocery
good time. It was a
Yeah,
terrible table, not a terrible time.
I don't know.
So when was
They were
Fuck,
murder hungry and a regular hungry too because of the groceries.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what-
if we had just eaten the groceries first,
Maybe
maybe
they
they'd have
would've
been
settled
okay.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do y'all stand on snitching? Snitching's not okay, correct?
Correct. Never snitch.
When is it okay?
It's not.
I will tell you when it's okay. Snitches get stitches applies to your buddy selling drugs. It does not apply to your
no,
buddy killing somebody and being like, "Hey, I killed this guy. I
It
need your help."
depends, man.
Look, let me just tell you something. If you
depends.
killed somebody and I knew about it, I'm not saying nothing.
Cut that.
You're my no. You can. Everybody out there can hear this. No, I'm not saying nothing. It's not my place to say nothing. Now, if you kill my daughter, you know what I'm going to do?
Kill me.
I'm going to fuck you up, and
Yeah.
nobody's going to say.
Why would you
nothing
say that about Sister Sue?
I'm just saying.
I gave her that name. It was
That's
just
the
sister.
only.
And then
These,
Sister
those
Sue.
are the only people that are off limits, and I'm still not snitching. I'm just going to.
You're going to handle business.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, I'm not snitching on you. I'm not telling your wife that you're having an
So let's say-
affair. None of those things. I'm not telling you your wife. I don't know,
Cut
man.
that.
I might tell you that your wife's having an affair because fuck that bitch. You know what I mean? You know what
Fuck
I mean?
yeah.
Bros versus
Second or
over
third.
hoes, like, you know what I mean?
having been told by people that my wife was cheating on me, it didn't feel great.
But you're glad you knew.
I was glad that I knew. Yeah, I was glad that I knew. Although it did kind of like ruin.
Your life?
His marriage.
Yeah, ruined
For a
my
little
life
bit.
and marriage. True, but it also ruined.
But now look at you. You're a tiki bar
Also
every Friday.
ruined ruined my relationship with that guy. I never wanted.
Was it with him?
No, it wasn't with him. He just witnessed it. He just saw it.
Why
and
did it
just
ruin your
reached out.
relationship with him?
I don't really know. I can't really.
But it
explain
fucked you up
He was
somehow.
you shot the messenger.
You know, I did, and I was aware of it. You know, I was like, look, dude, I guess no good deed goes unpunished. You know, sorry.
I mean,
But I
guess
wish
it-
you didn't tell me that.
ever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Would you rather find out on your own a year later or find out from a buddy a month in?
Well, like,
Would you rather?
Finding out sucks. Period. So I don't
Yeah.
think there's a good answer there.
yeah, I would just want to find out.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Don't, because in the past, like, I mean, my divorce is still, it's coming up on a year, so it's still. Pretty
Oh, shit, it
fresh.
was that
Yeah.
recent. I didn't know that,
Yeah. So like I've done plenty of like Toby Keith thinking about like I wish I didn't
Just
know.
patriotic as fuck.
No. I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then, kind of thing, right? And but like no, I needed to know.
Yeah.
And
It's one of those
it's good
you
that
d-
I did. It's
Now,
like pulling
if-
the Band-Aid off.
If he
kind of
wouldn't have
thing.
told you and you found out he knew, would you have still broken it off with him? Would you still like fuck that dude? He should have told me.
No.
Would you have had that
No,
attitude?
probably not. Or maybe I would. I don't know.
You don't know
You
because
have
you're
to
not
be
in that
like that.
He
situation.
and I
yeah.
weren't like best buddies or anything like that. He was
It's like
just
me
kind
and
of
Chris, like a
yeah,
Chris.
he was just a dude that was.
I don't
in
like
the
Johnny
he was,
right now.
He was a dude that was like kind of fringe in the comedy scene. in Little Rock.
It'd be like
so,
I'm not going to name
He was
names.
like,
it's
I
French,
wrote
but
it.
yeah, never mind. We're going to leave
he
that
said,
alone.
man, I got to tell you, I wrote a joke. All right, what is it? Knock. Who's there? Your wife's boyfriend. Fuck, man.
He's at your house right now where you're at this open mic.
yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
we're laughing at his pain. I'm sorry.
That's
No,
all
it's
good. He
okay.
does it every single Friday.
That's
If you want to
okay,
catch
yeah.
him at Tiki Bar, he's got plenty of shows around the
Check
city.
it out. Come check it out.
So you mentioned something in the text thread about no call, no show.
Oh, there was no
y'all
show.
wanna-
He did call.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. First of all, I love
So not
everybody in
that.
this world. No,
Oh, okay.
everybody I love. I
I'm
love.
not sure. I'm not sure what that was. I think I know what y'all were talking about.
Oh, a no call, no show. No. So it wasn't a standard like a no call, no show, but it was a no people, no show.
So I'm going to say this first. And
Hold on. At the show, there was nobody at
We have more people in this room than came to the show.
on Friday.
No.
No,
So, all
no,
right,
no.
let's do this. So
I don't want you to ever say
let's-
that about me again.
Let's tell the story.
So
All right,
I had a headlining spot last Saturday.
and I think I can guess where.
And it was down in South Louisiana. I was real excited about it. It's a really cool venue, but it's in a small town, and they are just not super excited about comedy. And so
Is there a military base nearby?
I think there's a military base nearby.
It was what we were talking about the week
It's
before.
it's a very yes. We had that conversation with
That
Chuck
I-
Garner. Yes.
yeah.
But,
Did you
I
cut
mean,
that
none of-
out?
I cut part of it out.
Okay.
None of any of that part matters. I mean, it's a it's a nice venue. It's a big venue.
Right, but it was it's the
You
same
know.
story. So it's the same story over and over again. Like,
It tends to be.
yeah, that's what it seems to be.
So,
Not
which is
talking shit about
unfortunate.
that, but
well, right,
it
because
just
it's
I
tough.
will.
Here was the deal for me. So like it was the first time that I'd ever had a headlining spot that nobody showed up for. You know, when it's your face on the flyer,
Yeah.
and nobody else is really. Well, the feature was on there as well, you know, but it was just me on there for the most part. You know, my
Who's your
big
feature on
smiling
that?
Face. A dude from Lake Charles, Louisiana, named Jacob Guidry. He runs
the Lake Charles
He
show-
runs Lake
circuit.
Charles.
Yeah.
Lake
Their
Charles
little
comedy.
circuit.
It all goes through.
I think
him.
I've
So,
chatted with him a few times. Yeah.
Jacob's a good dude. Good dude.
I'm excited
love
about
to
it.
have you on, Jacob.
Jacob, come on. I got to get him up here, and then we'll do a late night podcast after Tiki or
On
something.
Friday.
Or a theater. Man, can I tell you this? I love Dustin to death. I've known him for, 3 months now?
Oh wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Let me, I do want to finish. I do want to finish
Okay.
that part. So no one shows up for the show, and when I say no one, I mean like
The bartender was there.
the bartender was there, the door guy was there, and then the server didn't even show up. You know, so like no one, there was nobody there. That was it. There was the only people. You know, and not a single audience member. And so at about 15 after, the booker's like, "All right, man, come let me talk to you." And I was just like, "Oh,
You're like,
man.
no, let's not do this yet. Let's push it back an hour.
Jesus. And we sat down in his office, and I told him, I was like, "Well, man, I got to say, I didn't even let him start talking. You know, I just started in.
Let me get into this before you make
I
me
was-
feel weird.
Right. I was like, man, I'll tell you, I'll get up on that stage right now and do an hour if you want to pull up a chair.
Yeah.
You know. And he was like, no, man. He was like, I'm going to pay you what we agreed, you know. And he did, and he paid in full.
Which is awesome.
And
Fantastic.
so I can't. So it does. So at that point, it really just makes me feel embarrassed that I couldn't get anybody to show up.
I wouldn't
you
even-
know, for a show.
I wouldn't put that on you at all.
Well, you got to put at
I
least
can-
a little
I can
bit
understand
of it on
what
me
you're saying.
because it's
I
my
know
picture.
exactly
No,
what
and I
you're
get it,
saying.
and I get
That means
why you're
everybody
feeling
that
that
saw
way.
that flyer that
Was like,
saw
he doesn't
me
look
is
funny.
like, eh.
So let me tell you
Yeah.
this. As a, yes, I do comedy.
Gross.
Yeah. As I do comedy. I understand I do comedy. I don't know if you've ever noticed any of my flyers I've ever put out. My name is not on a single thing. My picture is not on a single thing. It is just either it is known or is it accepted that, yeah, Chris is probably going to open the show. He's going to host the show.
You do every commercial.
I do the commercials. Yes. I do all the videos, whatever. But every single flyer that is put out there when we don't do videos, it is, like, let's say for the last show we just had with Tyler Elliott.
I thought your picture was the main thing. Like, not even just. I'm not even going to be there, but I'm Chris.
There's been a handful of shows that I have. You were at one of them, huh? Nope, you weren't. Because Joel got on to me for making Johnny run the door for free every time. And he's like, you say he's funny. Why haven't you booked him? And I go, I don't know, because he does whatever I ask him, and he's just down for the calls. But I don't put myself out there as far as, hey, I'm a comedian on this shit. I put it out there as, hey, this is a promo video. I'm going to talk about the show, whatever.
You're the face of. Don't
You
take
can.
this serious.
You
I
can
think
do
I'm
whatever.
about to. Yeah, I think
You
I'm
can do
about
whatever
to.
you want to with that mic. You ain't hurting nobody's feelings.
I don't like being the face of things, but I understand my position in the shit. That, okay, well, someone has to be the face of it, and people and recently it's gotten to a point where like people are like, "You're that comedy dude," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I don't
Yeah.
like that shit.
You don't? Why
I-
wouldn't? Why don't?
It doesn't do anything for my ego. It doesn't do anything for my.
What do you need to have done more than that? Than being that comedy dude?
Man, I had somebody come up to me and it felt great.
And
It felt great for them to be like, dude, you're joking. I'm still laughing about it. Like, all right,
I was
hell
just at a point when I was in Little Rock where I would get recognized.
Yeah.
You know, not all the
It's a
time,
cool
but
feeling.
I'd get recognized. That hasn't happened yet in Shreveport, so I'm like starting back from the bottom again.
Well, you're
But,
also
like,
not
I
out at
recognized
Walmart
you
and
as
shit.
soon as you pulled in the driveway.
I'm out
In
at
Shreveport?
Walmart and shit. I'll go anywhere. I'll go to any
I'll go to Walmart right now,
I'll go to
motherfucker.
Walmart right now.
Test
Yeah.
me, bitch.
Let's go.
But what I'm saying is,
Let's get the mobile setup ready.
so yes, I do comedy, but I'm more of a promoter and booker than I am a comedian, and I
Well,
think
that's
everybody
still
can agree
that
with
comedy guy.
that. Yeah, but my job, for me, my headliner's job is to not get asses in seats. If people recognize them, cool, because we're working on a smaller scale. I'm not bringing.
fair, yes.
I'm not bringing Dave Chappelle. I'm not bringing Nate Bargatze. I'm not bringing Tom Segura.
Well, and that's me too. I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm a draw or anything.
Well,
but
that's the
still,
thing.
The fact still remains, though, that people saw the flyer, assuming anybody did see it, and was like, meh,
That's where we're coming up at.
you know.
My job is to make sure you have an audience to perform in front of, which I think I've done a pretty fucking good job.
Agreed.
Every Friday.
Agreed.
I mean, shit, this Friday, how many people we have in the crowd? About 50? For a fucking
was-
open mic.
Right. I mean,
At a biker bar.
open mic bar
I know it's
show,
not a biker bar, but everybody thinks it is.
But how many? So you've done comedy for what, 6, 7 years?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. So you've been in comedy for 5, 6 years?
2018.
So 5, 6, for, I can't do math
6
right now.
years.
6 years. So same time frame. You're not as good as him because you don't fucking try. But
Low.
my whole thing is, it's not y'all's jobs to get people in front of you. It's the venue's job. And based on, I don't have a venue.
I agree with that too. I agree with that to a limited extent. Yes.
But it's not
I'm
on
with
you to fill seats when you're, for lack of better term, nobody in the comedy world.
Well, true, but I mean, it also makes it that much.
Like
more-
Dustin's saying,
that makes it that much more of a thing when you can fill seats.
yes,
All right.
it's
I promise you, if I had walked into that venue after knowing that the last several shows they had very, very light attendance.
yes, and you had 40, 50 people, you'd be very
if I
excited.
had 20 people in there,
Yeah.
I'd have lost my mind.
Like, look who the fuck I am.
Right, exactly.
It's
yeah.
an ego
but
boost,
You couldn't
which-
have told me nothing for
Well,
weeks, and
and-
that sounds stupid to like be that gushing over 20 people showing up for a show, but it feels different because I'm just now at the point where I'm getting to regularly headline.
Yes.
And so when people show up, I'm like, man, those people, they were probably going to come to whoever was on the flyer,
Yes.
but
They
it's
were here for me, yeah.
Right.
You know, and so that feels really good.
Well, and it, like I said, it is not on you to fill seats at a level you're at right now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yes, but also there's a lot of guys that have been doing comedy a lot less time than
Yeah.
me. That have got a TikTok following that fills seats for them, and you know.
What did Nate Bargatze say about all these TikTok guys?
I have no idea.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean they're not.
You know what he feels about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, but tickets are tickets, man.
You're right. Yeah, and the money's the money. Yeah, and
I think one of the arguments with the TikTok guys is you're going to get that ticket sale one time. And the
Yeah,
next
one
time,
time.
and
Yeah,
the
they're
next
not
time you
coming
come
back.
back, they're not coming back because they already saw you. You're funny on TikTok. You're not funny in real life. Where, I know with a lot of people, I like his comedy. I don't like him in podcast.
Yep.
I like him in conversation. I don't like his comedy.
and there's a lot of guys that I like in podcasts, and I'm like, I'm not a big fan of his stand-up, and he'll never see this, obviously, but like, I'm not a huge fan of Rogan's stand-up.
Rogan watches every week.
Fuck. I'm never getting on the show.
Every week. No, that's even though he watches, you're never getting on the show. He told me.
It's because he watches that you're
Yeah,
never
that's
getting
why.
on.
Well,
Yeah,
my
so
whole
it
thing is like, so his last special, I fucking loved. And my brother's a super.
Is that the Netflix one that was live?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that special, but it's also dumbed down bro comedy, which isn't really my shit. I like Shane Gillis. He's bro comedy, but it's not dumbed down.
I fucking love Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis makes me giggle like a fucking schoolgirl. But when I saw Rogan's, I got a bunch of laughs. And my brother's so anti Joe Rogan. Like because he's
Joe
he had a
Rogan.
wing, it'd be the left one, is what I'm saying. So And he's just like, I can't believe you're watching that guy that promotes Nazis and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I get it. You watch a lot of Twitter shit. You see a bunch of stuff online.
We're getting political
And I
early
go,
today.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm just like, just go watch the fucking special because it's funny. And he goes, everyone said it sucked. And I was like, okay, but everyone said this movie sucked, and I still fucking enjoyed it. It's like with the new Venom movie. Everyone's like, yeah, that shit sucks. And I was like, have you watched it? And they're like, no, I just heard about it. It's like, well, go fucking watch it. It's still going to be fun,
the
probably.
The first 2 Venoms sucked. Why wouldn't this?
You didn't like the first 2? All right, so I
enjoyed them. I mean,
that's the thing.
It's
not amazing.
It's not amazing, but the effects are good.
It's fun to watch.
Somebody worked hard on that movie.
And
I respect what you're saying there. It's kind of like the movie 2012. All right.
What's
the effects are
2012?
good. Where the world comes to an end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The effects are cool, but the storyline sucks. Venom, whatever.
Venom's cool because I grew up like.
I do find excuse me for interrupting.
good.
I do find
I would
that
never say that.
I noticed the humor in Venom is really
It's
good.
fun.
It's fun.
It's
That
like-
is fun. I will give you that.
At
It's
some
right
point-
off that comic book page.
Whenever he
growing
does,
up.
I
Yeah,
think it's the
exactly.
new
And I was a
one.
big Venom guy growing up.
Same.
Like, I thought Venom was the coolest fucking guy ever.
Venom was so cool. Dude.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's the new one. I saw a preview for where what's the guy that's the actor's
Tom
name?
Hardy.
Tom Hardy is like talking to some criminals, and he's like, he's like, we're about to say something cool, like, we are, and then Venom chimes in, Venom. And it's like, just wait, like, I was trying to be cool, and you blew that.
Yeah, and
that shit was funny.
It's stupid shit like that I enjoy in a movie. I don't need any highbrow shit when I'm watching a movie, which is the same reason when I'm in my living room and I'm eating dinner, I'm like, put on Seinfeld. I don't need the highbrow shit. I just need something fun to watch.
Real life is terrible.
Why can't I just enjoy dumb shit for a little bit?
I do not want my entertainment to be intense in any way, shape, or form. In no way do I want it to have any level of intensity. I don't want there to be any element of danger. I don't want there to be any sense of failure. I don't want there to be.
I don't want to be sad.
Right.
I'm
want it
sad
to be,
already, buddy.
Exactly. Like if I need devastation, if I need a sense of danger, if I need something horrible to happen or potentially happen, I can just go outside.
I can go live my life.
And it's there. I can just turn on. I can scroll my Facebook feed and be like, "Yep, everything
there it is.
fucked."
Yeah.
I do not want. It always baffles me when people when horror movies and like real murder mysteries.
That you were describing my wife.
Oh
Yeah,
no, yeah, I'm
it's
describing
every
a
wife.
lot of people's wives and a lot of people's husbands.
Somebody here?
And
No,
it
just
looks
Pete.
just like a dog.
Oh, it's Pete.
Yeah,
It's my
just saw
dog.
Pete.
It's Peter Pan. Peter Pan Samuel Gates.
Pete. Is that his name? Peter Pan
So
Samuel
I
Gates?
can't do it, man. I cannot do it.
Did y'all ever watch
that's
Sons
why.
of Anarchy?
I did. I enjoyed Sons.
No, it
of
was
Anarchy.
great. I got to a
So
point where I was
good.
like, I'm done with this show, and I just watched the ending on YouTube. Like, I was just like, let me just see the last episode where the guy dies.
That's what happened to me with Breaking Bad. I had never watched any of it, and I walked into that garage I was showing you pictures of. That everybody was over at my dad's house watching, and I walked in on the last 15 minutes of the
last episode?
entire series. So I see the trunk pop, and all that
I don't know.
shit.
I never watched it.
That's
So I see the last 15, so I know it all, and I'm like, huh.
Well, it sucks
pretty
now.
good show.
Me and my wife got into Sopranos super late. Like, maybe.
The Sopranos.
Really? Oh, fuck.
It's just going to bother me doing this
Edit
on
that.
camera.
Nah, it doesn't bother me. No. I was gonna say real quick before you do the Sopranos thing. Another
You said that like I had a Sopranos bit.
another Breaking Bad type situation scenario that I did was the movie Fight Club.
Yeah.
I watched Fight Club until about the last 15 minutes,
And you got tired?
and then I was like, "Man, this movie's stupid.
fucking
dude.
sucks.
This shit's about to change your life, and you didn't realize.
Turned it off, and years later, probably like 5-6 years goes by. They're over at some friend's house or something. They're watching, they're watching it, and it's getting about to the point where I had turned it off previously. And I was like, "Man, this movie's so stupid, dude." I was like, "I don't even."
You have no idea. You have no idea how great of a film it is.
No idea what's about to happen, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah."
And
I'm
everyone's like, "Look at this fucking blowhard."
I'm like, him and Tyler Durden planning this whole thing, doing this thing together.
So unrealistic.
What are they doing? It doesn't
bullshit.
even make any sense.
Why are they
know?
such bad people?
And they're like, "You don't know?" I'm like, "No, what? What funny. And then I realized, I'm like, oh my God.
And you're like,
And now you have to watch it over again to
Now-
figure out what
And
the hell did I
you can
now
do.
notice
I hate
every
it
little
even
detail.
more. Now I hate
Really?
it even more. Yeah, I'm not going back and rewatching it after all this
I
time.
know the first time
Screw you, Fight Club.
the first time I watched it, when I got to the end, I was like, "Wait, what?"
dude,
And I had to hit play. You want some ice or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
The
Doug.
first time I saw Fight Club was in those like very formative years. I was like 12 or 13, and one of my really good friends' older brothers showed it to me, and he was like, "Wait, you've never seen this movie?" I go, "No," and he was like, "That's what we're watching tonight." He was just like the cool older brother that like listened to like hardcore music and like punk and shit like that, and I was like, "I'll do whatever you tell me to, buddy." And so we watched it. At the end, I was like, "This is my new personality. I'm gonna fight people." We started a fight club in middle school, and I got punched in the nose, and I was like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
Hit me in the ear.
That's good.
What's the first movie you remember watching? Like is there a movie you can recall?
I fell asleep in Aladdin in the theater.
Like
A first film?
like the first. Do you recall? Because I remember very clearly the first movie I remember. Because it's a
Gone with the Wind.
no fucking
That one.
Full Metal Jacket.
I saw Full Metal Jacket in a weird way, to where I saw the opener, where he fucking shoots a guy and kills himself. And
That's not the opener.
It's not the
That's deep
opener.
into the
That's
movie.
deep into the
but
movie.
that's I know what you're.
before they go to Vietnam.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
halfway through the movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I saw
Yeah,
up until
boot
that
camp,
point.
Boot camp is the first what?
Yeah, that's
hour?
actually about where I turned Full Metal Jacket off.
That's where I turned it off.
I don't even know it. It sucks, man. That movie's terrible.
Well, I saw it.
Yeah,
Aren't they rolling credits after he killed
it's
himself?
too intense, man.
It's
Man,
very
fucking-
intense.
It's a crazy.
I bet it gets a
movie.
lot worse too.
No, it gets better. I saw it just up to that point. I was like, "That's a great movie," and just never finished it. And then at some point, I was like, "Wait, that's a 3-hour movie. Let me see what else is going on." And the rest of it's a lot more fun,
Fucking R. Lee Army in that movie, man.
dude. Who?
The drill
the
instructor.
drill sergeant.
Oh yeah, he's so good. You know how he got that role?
Mm-hmm.
You know about that, right?
I think so.
All right, cool. We won't
But
talk
tell
about
us,
it.
yeah.
Next
Yeah,
story,
now tell us again.
huh?
I think he didn't he just like look the
He
part?
no, he
No,
was
he
no,
was an
he is
actual drill
he is a
instructor.
drill instructor.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he was just training the guy how to do that, and they were like,
yeah. He was.
"Fuck
on-
it, why don't you
just
do
do
it?"
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was like, "All right, I'll try it." Now he's been in so many fucking movies.
He's dead. I believe he died a couple years ago.
Yeah, I
Damn,
don't think
dude,
it's
just
been
yelling at
long,
motherfuckers in heaven.
What's your problem, numbnuts?
Now that you say that, the first movie, all I know is, I mean, how much do y'all remember a lot of y'all's childhood?
I remember some of it. I've been getting high for a long time, so
Yeah,
I've forgotten quite a bit of it.
I haven't drank any since
There's-
then.
There are certain things that stick out, like Full Metal Jacket, the 10 Commandments, this crane that I had when I was a kid, fixing my mom's seatbelt that they couldn't fix.
And you fixed it?
Yeah.
And you're like 7. You're like, what about this?
Yeah, unfortunately, the people that bought the car for my mom died in a horrific crash because the seatbelts didn't work. But
That's why it crashed.
Another story for another day. You know,
day,
it wasn't-
yeah.
We
Oh.
sold it. We had a bill sell
I
and
think
everything.
Secret of Nim was the first movie I remember watching.
I've never even heard of that.
The hell is
He's
that?
talking
Me
about I don't
neither.
watch.
What is it?
I don't watch intense shit.
Say it
Secret
again.
of Nim.
Oh, it is intense.
What's it
It's
about?
called Secret of Nim. NIMH. It's about this.
Is it a foreign film?
No, it's an animated film.
That's why I hadn't seen
But
it.
it's got. It's about this mouse, and she's got a sick kid.
Mouse Kid or
No,
regular
like
kid?
she's like a field mouse.
Gotcha. My
And
bad.
she's got a sick mouse child, and her husband is like not come home from this. Like he got captured and he's not come back, you know. And so it's unclear where he is or
He
if
got
he's
trapped.
dead or alive. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
And but these rats have.
They're different from the mice.
They're different from the mice
Okay.
because they're rats.
rats.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
But they're not bad.
They're outdoor
not,
mice.
They're not evil. They're good. They're good guys. But they were test subjects in NIM, which is the National Institute for Mental Health,
Nice.
and they were these test subjects, and so they
A bunch of mice on Lexapro.
right. They'd been pumped full of these drugs and shit, and so they were like way smarter than normal rats and everything, and so they escaped, and the mouse husband was with them, and he was smarter too, but he died on the way because he was little. And
Spoilers.
well, just kidding. I mean, yeah, if you haven't
don't
seen
even-
it now, you're not going to.
I think you got to go to
but-
Blockbuster to find that movie.
Yeah, but anyways, man, like the farm, like they live on this farm, and the farmer is like gonna like replow this new field, and that's where the mouse lives with her sick kid, and he can't leave because he's sick, and the rats like get together, and there's like a big storm, and like some shit's going down, and like one of them's got a magic amulet, dude, and they like raise this mouse house up out of the ground, and it's an amazing movie, dude. It's good.
All right.
It sounds crazy.
Don Bluth plays a crow.
You said that like everyone knows who that is.
Oh, Don?
Don
Yeah,
Bluth.
Don Bluth. Yeah,
You know,
I got you.
he's the big dude
Yeah,
that
that dude.
looks like he.
No, John Bluth.
No,
She.
no.
Who the fuck is that?
You know, all right. You guys are from Louisiana. You know Chef Paul Prudhomme?
Yeah.
He looks like
the
Don
ooh,
Bluth
yeah,
looks
or
exactly
whatever.
like him.
Throw some more of that in there.
No, that's Chef Jonathan.
Is that
That's
that?
Chef,
Who
Paul
you-
Prudhomme is the big guy
Yeah.
with black hair.
Always
that's every
did he
chef in
always wear
Louisiana.
suspenders?
No, that's Chef Jonathan.
Okay. That's who I'm seeing.
Yeah, Chef Jonathan.
Sorry, I got
always
two
had the red
flies in here.
suspenders on. Yeah.
Almost got him.
For the rest of the podcast,
For the rest
let's
of the podcast,
just
give me
try
some
to catch
chopsticks.
these
I'll
flies.
kill this motherfucker.
Just give me a fly swatter. Let's not get.
Back to Dustin Vance. Dustin, you're from Arkansas,
Originally from Arkansas, yeah.
and you live in Ruston.
Live in Ruston now.
Hell yeah! All the college babes just walking around looking for 45-year-old men.
Now Ruston is Ruston is a nice little community, man. It's kind of an anomaly
I've always been told that.
as far as like college towns go. You know, like
Really?
these are not.
Do y'all have any shows up there?
No, nothing.
What do we got to do to make that happen?
I don't know.
You think it would be popular?
I don't. I think there's a
Really?
reason that it's never took off in Ruston.
Have they ever tried?
I think some people have tried. The a Ruston audience is much more conservative,
Yeah.
and I don't mean conservative in like
This is who I
like
voted
they're
for. Yeah.
right, yeah, like
Yeah.
not that kind of conservative. Although that they are that way too,
Yeah.
but they're also not gonna want any kind of
Foul shit.
foul, anything
Yeah.
foul of any nature, and I mean
I can do
any
clean.
nature. Well, when I say clean, I mean
I can
like
do clean.
Johnny
so
cannot
I-
be clean. He's
I-
proved that multiple
You know,
times.
I work clean. I'm a clean comic. All my jokes are clean. You know,
Yeah.
I would even have to really clean some of my stuff up for a Ruston audience.
Oh, I guarantee somebody in the audience would go, heavens.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, and so I mean, I can also say that like I wouldn't even. It would be difficult for me to even get me to agree to do a show in Ruston, depending on who else was on the ticket. Like
So-
I would want to have like full creative control over who else was going to be on there, because like neither one of you guys would be anywhere near the microphone. First off,
I couldn't even work the
no,
door.
you couldn't even work the door. Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I'll
'cause
Dustin's
tell-
like-
I'm dirty at the
listen,
door.
Dustin's
too.
like, you
Guys,
can promote it, Chris. You
I'll
can't be
tell-
on the
right,
shit though.
I'll tell you guys about the show after.
Yeah, we'll do a podcast.
You
about
can
it.
be there, but
podcast
make sure you
about it,
sit in the
yeah.
bathroom the whole time.
What I'm hearing is like the crowd in Ruston would not be the college kids. It would be
No, even the college kids are that way.
Really?
Yep.
I will say this: my brother-in-law goes to tech up there, and he will not come to a comedy show at all. I'm like, hey, if you and your buddies want to come to the show, I got you 5 free tickets, 6 free tickets, whatever you need. Just let me know. And he's like, yeah, for sure. And then he just doesn't show up. I'm like, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, so it's I mean they're very academically focused, and they like doing stuff like going to like libraries and
I hung out with
markets.
I hung out with the wrong kids in Ruston then because we were not doing that.
I think it's probably changed in the past
I didn't go to school
20
there.
years.
My friends did. Yeah, then it would have been 20 years ago.
Yeah, because
Right,
my
yeah,
uncle
maybe
went
it
there,
has
and I don't
changed,
think he's a
you know.
clean human. That's not a shout out to Joey, but you know, that's not calling him out. But you know,
No, Ruston is a really nice place. It's just incredibly family oriented and stuff, and
What-
so
what
that's not
sounds
a bad
nice.
thing. It is incredibly nice.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily conducive to like let's do a fucking comedy show.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, it's not
what
that.
drew you to Ruston, if you don't mind me asking?
So that's where my wife grew up. My first wife.
Gotcha.
That's where she grew up. That's where she lives. And after our marriage ended, she and my kids moved there, which was where she grew up. And
Right.
so after my second marriage fell apart, I was like, well, maybe Dad will just show up with that gallon of milk after 10 years.
I got those scratchers.
Right, and so that's basically what I did. So I just
Just be
showed
closer
up.
to the kids?
Yeah, so I live like less than a mile from their house.
yeah.
Nice.
And, I'm just kind of like there, like on standby all the time to
Whenever you need me, I'm here.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to ride to here? Do you want to ride to there? Do you want to, do you need a ride to school or to practice?
Yeah, if you
or,
don't want to hang out, that's fine. But if you also need a ride to the mall, I got you.
Right, yeah, it's that kind of stuff.
You
And so
mind me
that's what
asking
I've
how
been
many
doing.
kids you got?
I've got twin girls.
Twin girls.
Damn, twins.
Man, that's my sister-in-law has twins, and after having 3 kids, I would have loved to have had twins and get all the shit over with
That's
early.
what, yeah, exactly.
It would have
man.
absolutely been hard as
When
fuck.
it's your first 2, simple. And I can't sit here and act like I knew what it was like for the first 5 years intensely, but after that, their mom raised them after that. So.
Well, yeah, and once they turn 8, they start raising themselves. So
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
to
just
some
do their
you
own
just
thing.
got to
extent,
get
so
them
I'm-
places.
We're 1 year away, baby. I'm just hoping. Then we got another one. We got dude, fucking buns.
All 3 of mine are pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, they let Pete out, let him in the studio,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Look,
Fucking-
he's asleep by the back door.
That's so sad. Go get him.
Hey, you know why he likes it back there? Air conditioner flows underneath the thing.
So it's hot or cold?
Whatever. Damn, is that it's a fly on the TV. You want me to let Pete in? I'm not letting
No,
Pete
don't
in.
let Pete in. He's gonna
I'm not letting
bark.
Pete in. He'll either bark or just
Fucking
annoy the
Pete.
fuck out of everybody. So, did you said you had a show yesterday?
No,
No. We had Hooters
last
yesterday.
Saturday.
Last Saturday.
Yeah, last
Okay,
Saturday.
okay.
Yeah.
I was
Which was not his fault.
right. I gathered that. So
He came fully prepared with
Were
what
you
he
at
had
the
to
open
do.
mic Friday?
I was at the open mic Friday. Yeah,
How did you end up hosting?
I did not end up hosting.
That's what I thought we were originally talking about.
So,
the no call,
no,
no show.
no.
That was the host.
No.
Oh no! So
Yeah.
the host we had.
I would have hosted, but I'm going to say right now I was very. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised because I don't think I was really surprised, but I really enjoyed Chris hosting.
Chris Washburn's
Chris Washburn
he's a
hosting.
great
He
comedian.
He did a really good job.
He's
and-
great. He just doesn't come out enough. And I told him, I was like, dude, I'll book you whenever. I just got to make sure I can depend on you. Like, and I think a lot of the guys realize, like, yeah, if you show up, Chris will book you.
Yeah. Even if you don't show up, he might.
And Johnny Gates. Johnny shows up for the big stuff that matters. Johnny does everything besides do comedy.
I work Friday nights.
Hopefully.
What's your and you don't have to say Chris's, but what's your favorite mic to do?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty biased on this one. I mean, my favorite mic is one in North Little Rock in Arkansas. I'll call it's the Joint. It's
Cut
on
that.
Tuesday nights. I mean, nobody's going up there.
It's the
that's
second
not,
best.
It's. I mean, that's where I did the majority of my comedy when I was first
Right.
starting. I mean,
It's home base.
it's home base for me. I mean, they've always been so good to me too.
Right now, I know what you was that the place that.
No.
Okay, I was about
that's
to
a
say. So,
different
do you
club,
still
yeah.
get to go? Do you still go up there?
No,
Too
not
far
yet.
of a drive,
No.
huh?
No, it's not. It's a far drive. I'm not welcome.
That's what I was. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
So that's the club you're not welcome at.
No. So there's a city in Arkansas called Little Rock, which is their capital city, right?
Very familiar.
That's where the club that I won't even say its fucking name.
Okay.
Fuck
Fuck that.
DTS or
that
die,
snake
motherfucker.
den. And then there's a city north Little Rock, which is the Shreveport Bossier situation.
Yeah,
One's
yeah.
on
Right.
one side of the river, but they're separate.
Same city,
Right.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but they're separate cities.
I know how maps
and,
work.
and North Little Rock has a comedy theater there, and that's where
That's the one you said is your favorite mic.
that's my favorite.
and
mic,
that
yeah.
you're not welcome at that.
I am welcome at that one.
How come
I've
you
got my
haven't gone-
picture on the wall at that one?
How come
Hell
you
yeah.
do
Well,
you
it's
go
three,
back?
it's 3 hours away.
Okay, that's what I was
So,
getting.
yeah,
Is like,
yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah, but that's
How
got to
far
be
are we from you?
it's, a little over an
and a
hour,
half.
like an hour 10.
So someone else is starting a mic over at Strange Brew. And he was
Okay,
telling me
yeah,
about
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, yeah, for sure. So you got it? And I go, what? He's like, well, yeah, you can do it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that at all. And he was like, why? Because I got enough shit going on. Like, that's awesome. He goes, are you mad about it? No. Anytime there is more fucking stage time for these comedians, that means these comedians are getting better every single week. And if we get to a point where there's 3 mics in the city, I don't give a fuck how many people show up. I'm going to do my thing and promote the shit out of it. Because I pay to promote Tiki Bar.
Sure.
And it took 3 years to get to where we are now, to where there are 40, 50
Right.
people coming every week.
Yes.
This wasn't like, so our first show, we had 120 people in Tiki Bar.
Yeah, you're not going to get an open mic
It's
takes
not
a
gonna get-
long time to develop an audience.
Yep.
It's just like the big
And it's
names.
hard
Kill
to do
Tony
that.
started with what, 20 people probably showing up to the show.
Right? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's not-
Open mic success is not overnight.
No, yeah, and so it took me, and this might even be a enigma of how we got to where we are so quickly. I think 3 years is a quick turnaround to be where it is.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
I
because the
think you're on
city,
track for
this city doesn't have the audience.
Yeah, Shreveport's not a comedy city.
No, it's not, and that's why I'm doing what I look at Johnny dying laughing. Let's hear it.
You said enigma. Are you sure it's not an enigma?
Cut it.
The hard R. It's just what popped in my head. I'm sorry.
I understand. My hood's getting washed right now. Cut that.
Sorry.
But it takes a while to build things. And that's what one thing another club is doing, where it's like, hey, this isn't an overnight success. Why is everyone going to that shit? Well, this took me fucking 3 years.
Right. Yeah, you didn't start the same day. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
And the other
how
thing,
long have they been doing it? A couple months now?
Yeah, and the other thing that they're missing the mark
A bartender?
Well, right.
Continue.
Yeah, I mean completely. It's like if you give a stand-up comic an opportunity to get on stage somewhere, you got them. That's all
Yeah.
you need to do. Just point me in the direction of the microphone, tell me what time I got to be there, and comics will show up. That's it. That's all you need to do for comic engagement. Boop, that's it. You're done. The rest of your time needs to be spent on getting an audience in the
Yes.
room,
Yeah.
okay? Because comics are not going to be the audience. They're not going to buy food. They're not going to buy drinks.
They're there strictly for their 5 minutes.
Right. They're there for their 5 minutes of fulfilling their ego. And when I say they, I'm very much talking about myself.
Same
I'm not-
situation,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm not singling any person out. You know, that's what we're coming for is that stage time. You know, that's why we're there. So you got to do yourself a lot of favors if you're the business running it, and you got to be consistent. So when the doors open, a bartender needs to be there so
Yeah.
that you can actually buy drinks, you know, and the drinks you buy need to actually be cold, you know, not just, they don't need to have been purchased 5 minutes ago, unloaded from the street. You
From
know.
Thrifty. You don't
know, it's
shout
like,
out
man,
Thrifty
like,
Liquor. They
yeah.
support the fuck out of us.
You know, do some, you know, just, I don't
You
know.
gotta do
just
your
run
due
it a little- Yeah,
diligence.
do your due diligence. Run it a little more
Well,
professionally.
it just has to. I mean, you have to pay attention. Is what you have to do.
Well,
you can't
my thing
just,
is-
like you were saying, you can't just not. I don't understand how you have a bar and you don't have fridges. You know what I mean?
Right, it's really
yeah.
weird. You know, you got a food truck that comes every time, except when it doesn't, and when it does come, well, sometimes it doesn't have the food, sometimes it does, sometimes it's out of like what you'd most expected. I mean, it's just
You're a Philly cheesesteak truck, right? Yeah, let me get a Philly cheesesteak. We only got fries.
right,
Hush
exactly.
puppies.
It's that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a strange.
There's a lot of.
There seems like there's a lot of untapped potential there, but I don't know.
I really think
It's a
like,
great
with that
fucking
place
club.
with that place in particular. I think the location is going to be one of your biggest.
The
fights.
location's. It's not great, but it's also not terrible. I just heard that whole thing go down that.
It's all good.
Dustin did it.
can't-
Was like, oh fuck.
I can't quit playing with it,
It's all
man.
good. No, that location is. It's not. Downtown is for the casinos. Period.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
I disagree because they can beat you on all fronts.
Well, think about.
They don't have to pay rent. They can pay the fuck out of their entertainment so they can get bigger names.
Yep.
They've got a place where they've got the tickets. They can do this. They've got the entertainment, the food, the things you can do before and after. They got the
Yes.
hotel. Downtown is for the casinos, and in my opinion, quit fucking trying to compete with the casinos. Nightclubs are having a hard time downtown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the only thing that doesn't have a hard time downtown is like office space.
Yes. The restaurants do okay.
Nah.
You don't think so?
No,
Blind
I
Tiger and
deal
all
with
them?
them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Blind Tiger, that's a different story.
Yeah.
You know,
Blind Tiger is Blind
it's-
Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Blind
Bon
Tiger.
Asian's a different story because it's Bon Asian.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see Noble struggle.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of other restaurants that have gone in down there that have closed. The Abbey Singers, I don't think it would be there if the movie theater wasn't there.
Yeah. What is Abbey Singers?
The restaurant in the movie theater in the Robinson Film Center.
Oh, it's in Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice place, good food.
Yeah.
Upstairs, it's got a balcony you can sit on.
And
but-
Robinson's fucking
and
awesome.
It's a neat place, but
Yeah.
I think downtown is not for entertainment unless you want to gamble. That's it. Bosier's got it a little different. I understand that with the 7th tap.
With the East Bank and all
with
that.
With the East
yeah.
Bank. But it's one... It took one gigantic... They had to cut out all of their competition in order to survive.
I see what you're saying. This is
Yeah.
kind of an interesting point about, I mean, that just kind of overshadows everything else downtown when you've got the casinos there.
It does.
There's a bunch of them.
It's tough to
Well, the
find.
thing
It's
is-
tough to go anywhere else for any other form of entertainment.
Well, the thing
when
is,
the
people
casino
are
can-
I can
coming
do it
to
under
the-
one roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people are doing the casino thing, and they're traveling to come do this. So that's why people are like, oh, cool, we're going to gamble. But also there's a bunch of other shit going on, which is what you're saying. It's all under one roof.
Well, anybody, if you live in town and you want to go to Rodney Carrington, a big
Yeah.
comedy name, well, you can go and eat dinner at the same place. You can park one time. You can go inside and eat
You don't
dinner.
have to leave.
You can
You don't have
chill
to
and
you don't have
gamble.
to spend $100 on Ubers to
Correct.
get to where
you
you're
can,
going.
You can
yes.
drink at the bar. You can do whatever, and then
go
you
to
can go
fucking
see
sleep.
Rodney Carrington.
I actually
And-
opened for Rodney Carrington.
This motherfucker's
That's
just
what's up.
dropping this bomb right here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He taught me a really cool trick with his hat.
He's not clean.
Do you need a hat? Where's my
No,
cap?
he's
You
not
need a hat?
clean.
Get that cowboy hat. I want to see the
He
trick.
did it with a cowboy hat. Was what he did it. Yeah, I can show you. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's it.
That cowboy hat is when we ran out of costume ideas, and Johnny was like, I don't have a costume. And I go, you're going to be a cowboy. Here's a shirt.
So he wears.
It's going to swallow his head.
Yeah, no, it is way. Woohoo. So he wears a hat on stage, right?
Right.
And-
I saw him the last time he came
Okay,
here. Yeah.
so he wears his hat on stage.
our
And what
show
he
for it.
does is he puts it on and he locks it down on his head real good, like real tight, like you're preparing for a business presentation or a funeral or something.
Okay.
Like you're getting ready for
Right.
it. And he comes on stage like that, and it presents this appearance of he's sharp, he's well dressed, he's put together, he's ready, he's John Dutton from Yellowstone.
All right.
He's
Yeah.
pow, And then right when he starts his stuff, he gives it one of these. And all of a sudden it just completely transforms him and his approachability and everything that he is on
I can
stage.
see- I can
right, you can
see
see
it.
it
I can see it
instantly.
as soon as you did
right,
it, yeah.
do it. So
It's
so
almost
that was
like
a
going
fun,
from this to this.
Exactly it. And it's a real intentional thing that he does when he does it. And it's just such a neat thing.
Fits Johnny good. Ain't no way.
Perfect.
Why do you look
Perfect.
like Patrick Starr right now?
Who's that?
From SpongeBob SquarePants?
Patrick. Okay.
Oh, he's on first name
Yeah,
basis.
it's my bad.
Oh, my bad.
But yeah, so even now to this day, I do the same thing with my hat. If I'm wearing a hat on stage, not a cowboy hat, but just my ball
Regular
cap.
hat.
Right. Yeah. I'll put it on tight, real low down, come up on stage, give that half second of appearance, and be like, oh, this guy's okay.
He knows what he's doing.
He's doing all right, and then boop, pop it up a little bit, tilt it a little bit.
Get comfortable, and
Get
now they're your
comfortable.
friend. Yeah.
Right. It's almost like you've Mr. Rogers it. You've come on stage, you've changed your shoes, and you put a little jacket on,
Nice.
and now you're
Could
ready
you
to
be
do
mine?
your inside
Would you
work.
be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
That was a very good impression of Mr. Rogers.
Thank you.
I've had 6 beers.
If he
and now
was
my
about to
words are
kill
slurring.
somebody.
I've heard he sleeved out, had like the most kills in the Vietnam War. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if he sleeved
Heard he
out.
was
but,
Alice Cooper's dad. And
I've never heard that one. No.
That's a funny one.
Yeah, no, I only heard that he was like a big time war hero, and he the reason why he always wore long sleeve shirts is because he was sleeved out. He had the most confirmed kills in Vietnam.
What direction has this podcast gone? I'm just thinking of the highlight reel of this podcast.
When I plug
it's
it in,
gonna-
it'll be
yeah.
interesting.
It's
I'll
gonna be
tell you
fun,
that.
It's
for
gonna
sure.
be interesting for sure.
Well, he said that,
The
and he goes,
further we go, I just keep sliding more and more this
"Can
way.
you blur
Off
my
cam-
face this
yeah.
whole episode?"
We get off. Do we need to start over? I mean,
Cut now.
introduced me to the other day. See, this is 30 minutes in all the way. That shit you told me about the other day, the sex torso.
Oh, pff.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Did you get you one?
No, no.
He had never heard of these sex
I had
torsos.
never heard of a sex torso, and then I was like, "What the fuck is a sex?" So I looked it up and was like,
It's when you can't afford the full
Just
body.
a torso.
Yeah.
"Holy shit!"
Imagine walking
Some
into
of them are full bodies. Like I saw one that you can make the arms and the legs stay where you want them.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Like
I've
one
seen
of the
those
positions
too.
they had her in was like this, with her tits smashed together, and I was like,
Hang
"What?"
on.
Like you
Pause
can,
this. I got to jerk off real
you
quick.
can draw the shoulders in. Oh man, it was so.
Which is the best titty pic you can never get.
But
Either that or the when they're stretching
do-
up like
yeah,
they
you
don't.
could
It's
do
like
that
it's
too.
okay if you got mom tits. We like those too. We like them all.
the one thing that was the biggest shocker about all of them is every one of them that had a face looked like they were 13. That was so.
I don't know why that's
so
shocking.
disturbing.
You think degenerates aren't into 13-year-olds?
Even though, like, just the torsos were weird because it's like the belly is cut off, the legs are cut off. So it's like you're dealing with somebody that's got into a terrible
yeah.
car
Yes.
accident.
Quadriplegic, yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, and it's just, man, that was eye opening.
He'd never heard of it. I was listening to Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, and it was an old episode, and they were talking about one of the guys. He bought a sex torso because his biggest fantasy is watching his girl eat another girl. So to start things out, he was like, "I'm gonna spend $300 on her to eat a fake one."
I like that commitment to, like, I think he knew what he wanted, and he had a target to get there and a way to make her comfortable with
Yeah.
it. You know, what's $300?
Yeah, let's step into this
step
easy.
into it
Yeah.
easy. You know,
I would
want you
never
to be
ask my wife to
comfortable,
do
babe. You would just tell her.
that. Yeah, bitch, you ain't got a
Eat
choice.
that fake torso,
So and so's
pussy.
coming over. Oh yeah,
eat
sorry
that torso pussy.
Well,
guys. Is this it?
is that it?
Johnny said, "Well, like it was."
I don't know. I mean,
All right.
we're an hour and 32 in, and I can easily probably cut an hour and 30 minutes of this.
2-minute episode. Here's the reels.
Man,
We got YouTube.
we
shorts for this one.
are trying to figure this shit out.
Where
ladies and
y'all
gentlemen.
going to eat?
He don't know.
I think Tejas is where.
Who's all there before I had to commit to going?
Hold on.
What you mean commit to
All right, are we
going?
done? Are we done here?
We can be done. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end this episode of the Terrible Table Podcast. We appreciate you guys joining us. I feel like we went really. I don't feel like we got anywhere with this one. I'm gonna have to have you back.
That's okay. I would love to come
I
back.
would love to have you back.
Come back.
And we'll do this
It'll
a
be
little
fun.
different. I feel like I
enjoyed
wasted
this.
your day.
No, you definitely didn't.
I paid him to be here. He's all right.
enjoyed this. Yeah. And even if I had not gotten paid,
Yeah. What do I owe you then?
So $200.
All right, Chris got you.
He's got the brand. He's
Talk
got
to
it.
Talk to Nick.
No,
Because you get him
a
and
ton,
Joel
this was a
confused.
ton of fun.
Yeah.
Ton of fun.
Well, we will get better at it. I promise.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Well, thank you guys for joining in. You want to end it?
Thank you guys for joining in to another episode of the Terrible Table. It's been a great time. We had Dustin Vance on today. He's one of my favorite comedians coming up in Shreveport. I know he's been doing it a long time, but we've only known him for a handful of months, and very grateful to have him here. If y'all want to see him, you can catch him every single Friday at Tiki Bar, hopefully.
Yep.
He's willing to make the drive just to make you guys laugh a little bit or a lot of it. It's up to you guys what you're into. We love you guys to death, and hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget that. Throw a comment. Gets us in the algorithm. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
This table is horrible.
Smell that drawer.
I just shit on his table.
Because it's a shit table. I mean, I get it now.
Table.